I'm strong in faith.
Faith can move mountains. Radio Maria 91.3 FM.
The voice of truth.
Hello, good evening, beautiful people of Abuja. This is Radio Maria 91.3 FM. It's a Sunday evening. The time is 6:30 p.m. And what does that signal? It is time for the Genius Kids Show. Yay! So welcome to the Genius Kids Show. The Genius Kids Show is the show where we discover ways to ignite the genius in your child, because on this show we believe that every child has a genius in him or her. So welcome to another exciting episode. It's the first Sunday in the month of August. And guess what? It's my birthday! So, welcome. It's going to be an interesting show today because I'm happy. Yes. All right. Now, today I have with me two amazing guests. One you have met, the other you haven't met. You have met Mr. Bruno Chukwuemeka Onoha. He was with us a few weeks ago when we talked about career choice in children, and we got a lot of feedback. A lot of you enjoyed that conversation. So we have him here again with us today, and we'll be having a very, very thrilling conversation on a topic I'm sure you must have thought about, because it affects everybody, both children and parents. We've all had a thing to think about this topic. But before I let the cat out of the bag, let me introduce you to our second guest. She is Mrs. Caroline Ebirim. Do you know why we brought her on this show? Mrs. Caroline has tasted the life of a teacher. She has had to deal with little children and understands what it is to do well in school. And now she's a mom of 3 amazing children. So you see, we are not talking about people who are just here to spill theories, blah, 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 blah. We brought you people who are able to tell you from their experiences and from what they know. So now, I'm going to let them introduce themselves by themselves. But before we do that, I am Genevieve Duruiheoma. Children, remember you can always call me Miss Genny, and I am the Genius Kids host. Welcome to another evening on the show. Let's meet Mr. Chukwuemeka.
Good evening, Abuja. Good evening, children. And let me not forget, happy birthday, Genevieve.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Onoha. How was your week?
Very well, thank you.
Good to have you here again.
A pleasure.
Let's meet you.
Hello, good evening all. This is Caroline, and I'm thrilled to be here. And I also want to steal this time to say happy birthday to Miss Genny.
Thank you.
You've done so well. We've been enjoying the program, and so I'm here to give a face to the callings and every other thing.
So happy
thank you.
To have you. Thank
and
you.
I'm here to I'm happy to share this time with you all.
We are happy to have you too. So you're welcome. Like I mentioned earlier, we'll be talking about something that interests everybody, that has given a thought to so many parents, especially if you're being intentional. I can't fault the argument that technology has been massively beneficial. I can't. Many parents believe that exposure to screen, to gadgets is essential for a child's holistic development. And I agree. I, for one, know that my now 4-year-old daughter learned the basics of sign language, that's the alphabet, number, and first words, from screen. She learned it from YouTube without my assistance. I never for once enrolled her in a school for that purpose. So yes, children learn a lot from screens. But do you at any time worry and wonder if there is too much exposure to screens? Do you at any time wonder if there is overdependence on screens? Are you concerned that it may be unhealthy for them? If you have ever been in any of these shoes, then you're on the right station, because we shall be doing justice to this topic. We shall understand what screen time is, what advantages it has, what disadvantages it has, how you can manage it for the optimum development of that child. So we are talking screen time on the show, and I want you all, wherever you are, grab a seat, sit still, get your pen and paper, and get ready to note. Don't forget to call all your neighbors, all your friends, and everybody around you. Increase the volume of your radio set, but don't touch that dial. See you in a bit. Welcome back, beautiful people of Abuja. Can you hear the ring in my voice? Because I'm happy. And I hope you two are, and get ready to call me in. If not to say anything, just to say happy birthday. That will make me really happy. Okay? So now, talking about screen. Let me just quickly drop this. Did you know that a study that was recently conducted showed that between children of between the ages of 8 to 12 spend on average 4 to 6 hours on screen every day. How many hours do we have in a day? 24. Let's say they sleep for 8 hours. 24 minus 8. How many do we have? And then you now subtract 6 hours from it. How many hours of doing any other thing? So it's really a substantial time, part of their day. You've not talked about the time spent eating, sleeping, feeding, and all that. Now, if you're going to be spending 4 to 6 hours of your time on a thing in a day, that thing must be really important. So let's even begin from there. When we talk of screen time, what are we talking about? Over to you, Mr. Bruno.
Thank you, Genevieve.
Yes.
Screen time is the amount of time spent using a device with a screen, such as smartphones, telephone, television, video console, just like PS4 and PS5, and all the different types of video games that are in the market now. And the time kids spend these days have increased over time because there are a lot of devices out there, and they are not letting go. In fact, most of them put pressure on their parents to get one device or the other for them. And during the holidays, this is what they do mainly in order to keep busy. And most parents, because they do not like the troubles input associated with kids during the holidays, they will go all the way to get those devices for them.
And give to them. Okay. I think that is a beautiful introduction to the topic. Screen time is the time you spend on screen. This thing is not only relevant to children, I must say, even adults. The time we spend on screen, some of us
having more adults that are addicted to
screen. Some people, once you wake up, the first thing you do is to touch your phone and take. As in, that's the first thing you do, and the last thing you do. As in,
it's addictive.
It's addictive. So screen time is on the increase, and I think a major thing that played to that, a major factor contributing to the increase on the time spent on screen is the coronavirus season. That lockdown, everything went virtual. Meetings went virtual. No more physical meetings, no more physical offices. Schools went virtual. So even parents that didn't want to give their children access to internet and computers and laptops had to, because that was the way of life at that time. And now it's hard to retrace any steps. But before we go further into this conversation, let's hear from Miss Caroline if there are even advantages to this screen time. Are there benefits to it?
Definitely there are. In fact, we are in a modern world. You say it's a globalized world. That's the tool that is used in communicating. So we find it as a very veritable means of communication.
I can't agree less.
Think of it. By the time I'm sure maybe you have a phone at home with which you communicate to your people at home. As I left this evening, I had to drop a phone in case of emergency. Now think of it. You use it to communicate. And then kids of these days are getting smarter, and then they need a way of letting them know that yes, these things are important, but then we'll use it to the positive side. So number one is communication. They use it to communicate with their friends, their family members, and then even in schools you find out that assignment groups, they use it.
That's
the years they use it to send the kids assignments home. They use it you can use it to communicate with the teachers, and then even you find this Google Classroom. My son is in one of them, and through that they send in their assignments. You even have to check through what they do in school and during those times of learning. So it's a means of checking following up on your kids.
Yes.
The benefit is such that my son is on Google Classroom. He can be using it, and I, while on my desk in the office, can be monitoring to see what is happening there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
definitely has the positive side.
Yeah.
And then we're also looking at using it for researches.
Yeah.
And then
that's very vital.
yes, it also encourages kids to adopt healthy behaviors, very such as exercises. Now you get to see different exercise patterns
Videos
or
and all
videos
that.
of this thing. It helps.
Yes.
Yes.
I, for one, I use it a lot. You get to learn some of these exercise, this thing, and it's helpful for the kids too. You also use it for food choices. My son was all out. He was going to do a menu. He was going to do a timetable for the summer break. And this is what he did. He went online, created. He would just be asking me, "Do we do this between this and this?" By the time I got back from work, he had already come up with a timetable of what he wanted. So yes,
Yeah,
it's very
research.
helpful. The only thing that happens is when you do it, of course, they said moderation is the key to everything.
Yeah.
When you do not apply that moderation and when you do not supervise, I cannot overemphasize that. Where parents will have kids and then leave it all to them to do without having to supervise, that is where the problem is. But if you supervise adequately, follow up through, it is really a good tool.
Okay, I think, but with these few points of yours, I am convinced that screen time is good. Let us go on the screen. Another point I think that is worth mentioning is that it helps to keep kids entertained.
Yes.
We cannot deny the fact that at some point you just lead them away. In fact, screen time can be used to babysit children. Don't say I said that, please. So you are tired, you have to concentrate. Maybe you have a meeting, especially now many people work from home and they're there, mommy, daddy, you don't watch. Go. Put on the TV.
Exactly.
307. Watch, that's Peppa Pig, and they let you be in peace. So it can be used to engage them, it can be used to entertain them. So there are lots of benefits to it.
Sure.
But now Miss Carol even pointed something out. She said moderation is key. For us to be moderating, that means there can be a bad side to it. There can be a downside to it. Now, I think, Mr. Bruno, what do you think could possibly come out bad of this beautiful invention?
Thank you, Genevieve. First of all, so many research effort has gone into that, particularly in the outside world. According to the National Institute of Health in the United States, there was a study in 2018 which indicates that children who spend more than 2 hours a day on screen time activities score lower on language and thinking tests.
Please say it again.
Children who spend more than 2 hours a day on screen time activities score lower on language and thinking tests.
Wow.
And some children with more than 7 hours a day of screen time experience thinning of the brain's cortex.
Oh, this is...
And the brain cortex is that part of the brain that is related to critical thinking and reasoning.
Wow.
So it is very, very detrimental to the mental health of the child if the child spends more than the necessary hours on screen.
So look at us thinking you can learn from it when that thing you're using to learn is killing you. Can you imagine?
Good. So the what one can infer from this survey is that the neurological development of a child has something to do with the screen time has something to do with the neurological development of a child.
Exactly.
Therefore, there's need to curtail the exposure to screen time.
Yeah.
Apart from that, there are also hazardous aspects of it. There are speculations that it can cause eye problem.
It's not speculation. As in, even
Exactly.
as an adult, when I am before my computer for too long, it can affect me.
Then, apart from the eye aspect of it, there are also speculation that is for cancer aspect of it. Yeah, the eye problem is there. It's confirmed that a lot of exposure to that blue
Rays
causes eye problem. So one can also infer that certain aspects of a child development is narrowed due to exposure to screen time, because instead of them having a broader view of the whole world, they will be limited to whatever program they have on their screen. Is it? Of course.
Do I think I agree? With screen, you can know what's happening in America, in Asia, in Europe. But
when you're
which
talking
world
about
is here?
television, it is what the programmers are giving you that you watch. And
that's
also,
true.
when you talk about the cartoon aspect of it, it is also limited, because that is where our kids spend most of their time.
That's true.
On screen. So it is very, very detrimental to child development and mental health if more time is assigned to screen time. So parents should guide and instruct their kids on how to use any of the devices at home. It is very, very important, so that we will not lose another day while trying to get something. So it is very important. That is it for me.
Okay. Are there any more disadvantages you can readily think of?
Yeah, I think a very key disadvantage is it interferes with social skills development. You get to see kids of nowadays, once they have the gadgets, they zone themselves to a place, and then they wouldn't want to, because already they're engaged. You see a child, instead of going and being outdoor, as in wanting to do outdoor activities, they prefer to remain indoors, enclosed in their room or something, just to play. And that can be a really big problem, because now we are having children that have social issues. They don't want to interact. We have already given it a beautiful name. They said is somebody that is all these people that don't want to
interact with people.
Yes.
Introverted.
Introverted. Yes. We think that is a good thing, but then it's becoming a problem, because now we are in a social world and you have to interact. So that is a major thing that is a problem if you do not watch it. And for kids that are special needs children, like autistic children, it is a big issue. Those ones suffer from social behavior. They don't like to interact. So when you now expose them to more of screen time, they totally relapse and go into their shells. So you have to make it a point of bringing them out, look at social activities, outdoor plays. Yes. What are the things you can do? Yes, all these gadgets are good. It will help, as in, because of the world we are in. But then let's limit it and encourage outdoor plays. That's the social. And apart from that, he also mentioned critical thinking. When kids are not, that all your mind, everything is there, you don't think broadly.
And again, let me quickly add to that. These things usually get to supply the answers. So, for instance, there is this cartoon show. 5 plus 7 is. The child won't even bother. They'll just wait. In 2 seconds, the answer comes. Do you get it? It just says 12.
Yeah.
So it's unlike when a child is faced with that situation in real life where the child needs to solve it. So it affects critical thinking. I can't agree less with
also
that.
talk about the health aspect of it. Too much screen time can lead to obesity.
Because the child is not moving, they're just at one
also
place.
Sleep problems.
Problems.
Chronic neck and back problems.
When you are twisting your neck too.
Also, we talk about depression, anxiety, and then that is educational aspect of it, which is lower test scores in children.
Yes.
So all these are detrimental to child development.
Yes, I even read somewhere that it could also cause mood problems.
Of course,
that's your
anxiety.
emotional, the way you feel emotionally, because you don't know how to relate with real people.
Exactly.
Everybody you see is televised, so it can cause mood problems and make you feel left out when you are now in the midst of people. Then it also reduces the time you can spend learning things. So it reduces your useful, productive hours and just keeps you fixated at the content they want to feed you, right? As you put it. Then again, there is the danger of not even being sure of what that child is watching. So there could be exposure to unwholesome content, sexual content, violence, all sorts of. We hear things. How many months ago we heard of the 10-year-old girl that, where do you think they learn all these things from? Most times, a parent is doing their job thinking that they are breeding sense in their homes.
Yeah.
You don't know that right within your home, your child is exposed to a world you as a parent does not even know exists.
Not even there into.
As in you as a parent cannot even bear.
Yes, sir.
That's what your child knows. Many children today know more than their parents, and it's through this screen. It is through this screen. So the dangers are so big, the dangers are so overwhelming that you now begin to weigh on a scale. Is at benefits more than the dangers at the dangers. So we really need to, be careful when it comes to this.
And you even see, this one that vices are in the increase. You find out that the society posts a lot of all these vices on the internet.
Yes.
Somebody is killed in one part of the country in minutes. You're already seeing it somewhere. So all this, especially for our kids, they get exposed to all this. Before,
and there isn't much regulation, especially on the social media platforms.
And it's really a problem because I can remember, I think before I started hearing of somebody being dead, I must have grown a lot. But now, little kids, they already, was this person killed? They're already seeing it. So I think all these things are contributing to the negative the social vices we are having, and we really need to work on that.
Yeah. Okay, then I'm now getting afraid. The negatives are really much. But at this point, I think we need to take a short break, digest this, and then come back and continue with our conversation. But when we come back, it would be good to hear from those at home to see if maybe it's only 3 of us here in the studio that screen time affects. Let's get to hear from parents. Has this been concerning to you? Are you worried about it? What do you think can be done to manage it? Do you think it's all advantages, all disadvantages? Can a balance be struck, or should we just throw it away? All right. So the number to call when we return is 081-084-47518. We will see you in a bit. Welcome back, people. How has the conversation been? For us here, it's been enlightening and it's been eye-opening and challenging. We are like, really? So the more you watch, the less intelligent you are. Okay. All right, our listeners at home, remember the number to call is 081-084-47518. 081-084-47518. Call us and make your contribution on this topic, screen time for children. Okay, now moving on with our conversation. I remember some time ago when I did my very first research on screen time, and I saw do not expose children below 2 to screen at all. I told my friend, and she said, when you become a mom, come and lecture me again. So she said, no, don't worry, don't preach too hard. When you become a mom, come and lecture me again. And when I finally became a mom, I saw it was easier said than done. Experience is the best teacher. Yes. But now, let us know the ideal. Mr. Bruno, are there recommended times children should spend on screen? Let's see the recommendation and then work towards attaining that.
I think there's no defined limitation as per the screen time.
Mm-hmm.
It varies from region to region, from country to country.
Yeah.
Like the information I got from the Kaiser Family Foundation in the United States, as California, they recommended an average screen time of 1 to 2 hours for children.
Yeah.
Per day.
Monthly, week.
Per day.
Okay.
Per day.
Okay.
Per day.
Okay.
And
1 to 2 hours per day.
Per day.
Can we hear that?
Yes. And parents should also look at the content of the screen, whether educational or entertainment. They should divide it so that the educational aspect of it will get more time allocated than the entertainment side because of the development aspect of the child.
Yes.
So this is then when you come to our context in Nigeria, what applied in US might not serve here. So we have to look at what is prevalent in this country because for instance, most parents are always at work. So you cannot tell them to allocate screen time to 1 to 2 hours per day. Some of us who are parents who can testify to the fact that the screen time actually helps us a lot. It saves a lot of troubles. And not talking too much. You know? So to tell me to give that child 1 to 2 hours might be difficult. But we have to show moderation because it's very, very vital in that child's development. So in order not to spoil the child or to hamper his or her educational development, we must
moderate it
and moderate everything that concerns screen time. It's very, very important.
Okay. All right. Miss Carol, do you have any contributions on that, on regulation, as in how much time children should spend on screen?
Yes, he talked about the 1 to 2 hours limit per day. That's for 5 to 17 years, and which is highly advocated. In fact, and in order to do that, we have to take, like, we have it during the term when the children are in session, when they are in their school session. What most parents do is that they totally remove screen time.
Yes, during the weekdays.
Yes. And then I, for one, is an advocate. You do not renew the DSTV subscription. You make sure we limited it to weekends, and weekends had to be just like when you wanted them, maybe 2 hours or what.
Yes.
As like it's something you give them, as in for being good. Okay, you can take 1 hour, you can do this. So that was a very viable tool. What I did, and it worked for me. So they already know that once school starts for that term, we are off. Yes.
On my own, what I did as regards screen time, particularly these PS4 games, which are very addictive. Once it is holiday, I'll bring out the game console.
Yes.
For them. Immediately school
resumes, you take it.
I pack them away.
Yes.
This has been working.
Yes.
You know.
So desperate times demand desperate measures. Sometimes when I see that this was before, when I see my child is getting somewhat addicted to screen, there is so much screen time. As soon as that DSTV subscription expires, I let it be for some time. When they go, it's not working, I say yes, it's not working. So even earlier in the year there was this DSTV whatever, it got spoiled and then comes on. In fact, self-regulation, I thank God though, it comes on when it wants to and goes off when it does. So you'll be there watching a show, sometimes it will do 20 minutes a day. I was so happy because they knew it wasn't my making. So they'll just look and see the red lights. Oh, not again. I'll say sorry, and then that helped us. So
they were working
whatever
with your
they were working in. So in Nigeria, it's worse in the cities like in Abuja, in Lagos, in this where electricity is somewhat constant,
and where you do not want unnecessary outdoor exposure because you do not know your some of your neighbors.
Exactly. But back home in the villages, NEPA helps you regulate. Who did you see? You have to see light to charge the phone. You have to see light to plug the TV to connect it. So naturally, it's regulated there. That's why a lot of children from there do not have this problem. If you would notice, but if you come to the cities, the children here seem to, be controlled by the screen.
For parents in the system, I think they can also use technology to control the screen.
Exactly.
For instance, I have to install some cameras in my house. Even if I'm outside Abuja, I will be seeing the kids.
And what they are doing.
So whenever it's 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, I'll watch them. And whenever I see them watching television, I'll call them and tell them to shut down the television. So technology can also help us.
This daddy is me, no.
Wow. Another thing we can do is also to fill the void. Yes. When you are now taking it away from them, you have to give a good alternative.
Exactly.
That way they do not feel it. And what can we do? How about indoor games? Like we have brain games, Sudoku, puzzles, all those ones. try to get, I find myself buying more of those things this time around. I'll go and say, okay, this one needs, like, it works, a puzzle fixing this thing game, I'll get it for them. I'll see this one Sudoku book, where you have to match numbers and all those things. All those things take, and it helps their critical thinking. So that's a good one. Fill the void, and then allow them to play outside, ride bicycles. They can also now, a lot of their friends are on break too, so they get to see them around. You can decide to have also a sleep out, or let them go to their friend's house, let them play their games together. All those things can be a very, very veritable way of filling in the void. That way they don't get,
feel it so bad.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a creative way of curbing excessive screen time. All right, so what other ways can you imagine? What other ways do you think we can use to limit the amount of time our children spend on screen without them feeling it's a punishment?
Speaking from personal point of view, for instance, this holiday period, I know if I leave my kids, all their time will be spent on the screen. Either the gamepad or the television.
Yes.
So what I did was also to engage them in judo classes. Yeah. So every evening they go for their class on Fridays and on Saturdays. Then I also, for parents who can afford, I also provided the small swimming pool.
Good.
This plastic tank.
Yes.
With the water gun. So that you engage them fully. In all those activities that can also strengthen them physically.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Considering the economic aspect of it and the condition, most parents may not afford this.
May not be able to afford that.
But there are other things like educational books, talk about storytelling books, they can also get engaged with such.
Yeah.
Parents should also create time to tell their kids stories.
Bedtime
Stories. My grandmother told me it's important.
Because I know how eager my kids are to always listen to my stories.
Yes.
And, even when I fabricate the ones I fabricate,
I hope they're not listening to
they
this.
always listen. So, because when you have a creative parents or a creative mom or dad, you have to use that creativity to the fullest, and the kids will always cherish you.
Yes. Another thing I think we can do is to have rules.
Yes.
You can't have a lawless place and expect things to function well. You have rules. You can say, it's highly recommended, lest I forget, let me quickly drop it, that screens should be removed at least 1 hour before bed.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you do before you sleep continues to process in your head. That's when the most damaging of the brain happens. Wow. So this is why you see them recommending, I'm talking of the Westerners now, bedtime stories. And many of them do that. It's like their culture. Before a child sleeps, you see them reading to them. So as much as possible. So how about we all come up with a rule and say, what time does your child sleep? If they sleep at 9 p.m., at 8 p.m., an hour to that, no more screens.
Yeah.
You turn it off. You see them, and there was a time on this show we discussed boredom, the benefits of boredom. And we came to the consensus that boredom helps children discover their creativity. It helps them become better people. It helps them discover their magic, their genius. And we talked about many inventors that invented whatever they invented in the course of boredom when they had nothing else doing. So if you're always filling up your child's life every moment they are doing something. Mommy, the battery is down. It's 3%. You take it. You give them another one. This one is dead. You put on the TV. This one is... You are always filling up their lives with this. They don't have time to sit, to reflect, to think of themselves and create solutions
and even know what they are good at.
So
a lot of children have good talent, but because they are so submerged into all these, some of them know how to draw very well, but do they even have the time
to draw? Nobody will draw if you are not bored.
Yeah.
I mean it. You can't. The screen won't be there and you're drawing.
No.
But if you let that child, okay, one day there was no light and my daughter I said, Mommy, what do we do now? I said, what? Go and read. Just say, what do we do now? I'm like, I don't know. Let's think. So everybody, let's think. And then it was very windy. She just went out of the window and started singing, "How is the weather today? Is it sunny? Is it rainy? That was when she remembered what they taught her in school. She would never have been able to remember and apply the windy weather to what was happening if the screen was on. So sometimes that boredom helps that child to spark their own creativity. Let's not be, it's not a thing of pride that your child has the latest gadgets. It's not. We are not talking about the age you should even introduce. Your child should have a personal phone. I think that's your personal decision to make, and given to the exigencies of how your life goes and all that. But in all, we are hammering moderation. Have rules. Set rules. Every day you can only have access to screen for 2 hours. So choose your 2 hours. You see, some growing up now, you'd see daddy has his NTA news at certain time.
Yeah.
So whatever is happening, in fact, 5 minutes to 9, you're like, it will soon be time for as in. So you know that once that time comes, it's time for the network news. So you can have regulations that way. You say, at 7 o'clock we are going to listen to a story. If you see that they are so submerged in that, you can begin to introduce not so fanciful content. For instance, like what I do on my Android TV. When I see that they are being carried away by Peppa Pig, I change the control to story time on YouTube. You see stories. I say, this is so boring. I say, yes, but I'm enjoying it. From watching they would rather read hard copy books than watch somebody telling them a story with the Oyibo accent, all that. So from watching that, you see, they now discover their toys, they hid somewhere, and they will take it. So let's have rules. Let's stick by our rules. Let's provide other alternatives for the children. Okay, before we continue with that conversation, I would like us to take a short break. Then when we come back, we'll wrap up our conversation on how we can make healthy alternatives for our children. All right, see you in a bit. All right, welcome back. Nobody has called us, and I'm not happy because it's my birthday and nobody is calling to say happy birthday. Well, let's try and see if anybody is kind enough to call me today. The number to call is 081 084 47518. I'll call it again, 081 084 47518. So call us and tell us what's your contribution to this topic. Yeah, we have a caller. Hello. Good evening. Please, what's your name? Emmanuel Anokam. Thank you for calling. Where are you calling from, please? Oh, nice to have you on the show. So please, what's your contribution to the topic?
Thank you, Emmanuel.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you
so much.
Yeah. Exactly.
We have to check it.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah. Exactly. Thank you for that useful contribution.
Thank you.
God bless you. All right. We have another call. Hello, good evening. Good evening. Please, let's meet you. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hi. Henry from Kubwa. How are you doing? Okay. Of course, we miss you. So, Henry. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Harry. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Harry.
you.
Alright. Okay, bye. Okay, so thanks to our callers, we have another call. Hello, good evening. Yes, please tell us your name and where you are calling from. Lovable. Oh, I love your name. Welcome to the show. So, what's. Thank you. Sometimes we need to know now that you're there. Okay. Thank you so much. Oh,
Thank you.
thank you, lovable. Thank you. Ah.
Thank you. Yes,
Yes.
yes, it's an app. There's an app at the camera. Yes, thank you. Yes. An app, yes.
So is it CCTV?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then-
You can check it on Conga.
Okay, I think maybe he will.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The name of the app is Yelot. Yes.
The name of the app is
Yelot.
Ulot.
Yelot.
Can you spell?
YILOT.
YILOT.
Yes. Yes.
Free advert.
Yes. When you set it up in your app, you can view from any part of the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Ah.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you
That's
so much. Yeah.
and that will involve you choosing their friends for them too.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Exactly. We'll do our best and leave the rest for God. Thank you, lovable.
Thank you.
All right, I'm now happy. Okay, so we have another call. Hello, good evening. Good evening, sweetheart. How are you? What's your name? Hi, Janina. Good to have you on the show. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, my love. I love you. Thanks. Okay. Your birthday was last Thursday and August, baby. Big hug from here. I love you. Happy belated birthday. Belated happy birthday to you, okay?
Yeah.
I love you. Have a beautiful year ahead. Bye-bye. Bye. Okay. So now rounding up, we can see our time is far spent. So let's quickly round up on what other ways we can skillfully manage screen time, regulate screen time so as not to expose our children to the dangers in it. So Miss Carol, do you have any points on that?
Okay, one of the ways we can also manage them is the use of their age appropriate emails to open up their apps.
Yeah, to
yes,
set up
their video games, their
Yeah.
tablets, whatever you want to do. Use their age. You know, YouTube. We have we have the YouTube Kids. They
Yes.
do age appropriate content. But when you set their devices up with your own email,
Yes.
such the device,
The
the contents are assumed that it's for an elderly or
It's
a
for an
grown-up
adult,
person,
yes.
and an adult, and so that way they feed them with contents that are way above their age. So let's use their age in setting up. That way it gets restricted. And another thing is review their search engines as frequently as possible. Let's say when you get back home, go through it, check what most children, especially the younger ones, they are not aware of clearing up their history. So you can still, for now, you can still go there to look at it. What did they browse on? And then you can ask them, what did you do this for? Or if you see anyone that is questionable, you can follow up from there. Yes. Another thing is creating routines. Like I talked earlier, timetable, involve them. Get them, okay, come around this holiday period. How are we going to do it? No. I'm not going to leave you all to just do things at your pace and your or whatever you want to do. No, come together. They bring what they want. We harmonize. From this time to this time is wake up time, prayer time, house chores, breakfast. This you put a time to everything. When they now come to their, okay, there's screen time. They get to knowing that if they do not follow the routines, they are not going to have their screen time.
Exactly.
And also let us also build in that fact that they need 1 hour or more before bedtime to
unwind.
be up. Yes, yes, exactly. So if we do all this,
it should be good.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much, Miss Carol. All right, let's hear from you, Mr. Bruno. Are there any more points? Are there any more tips to parents that are listening on how we can regulate screen time?
Thank you, Jenny. Like I said before, technology is very vital in the regulation of screen time.
Yeah.
Given that most of the devices, for instance, the DSTV decoder, it has parental control settings. So parents will be able to use such settings to program the DSTV decoder so that their kids will not go to
channels that are unsafe.
Content.
Yeah.
Exactly. Big Brother is on now.
Exactly.
And some kids are their biggest fans.
Yeah. So parents, please do not allow your kids to watch such programs because the content is not for kids. And the way you can do it is by using that your DSTV or whatever remote.
Don't use trust though.
Exactly.
Don't use
your pin. Use a pin. Put a pin on it so that if any program that is meant for adult is being accessed, the pin is there. They will request for pin first, and you are the only one that knows the pin.
And guard that pin jealously.
Guard the pin jealously. Don't allow emotional blackmail.
Yeah. They are good at that.
Yes.
And another thing, also technology. There are devices out there. Parents need to explore. For instance, I personally have used a lot of technology to monitor my kids. I went to the extent of buying Wi-Fi socket so that even if I'm not at home, I can switch off a device from anywhere in the world.
Oh my God.
Because these kids...
So you can switch off the internet from wherever?
I can switch off my TV from any part of the world I am.
Really?
Yes. Once your Wi-Fi is working and you have the
Wi-Fi
app in
sockets.
your phone. Yes. These are simple technologies to set up. So once you set up the devices in your house, you can stay anywhere and switch off.
Please, what do you use for that one? Is it the same YLOT?
No, this is a Wi-Fi switch. You can check it out.
Wi-Fi.
I don't want to advertise any marketing platform again.
Wi-Fi sockets.
Yes. Google it, you get a place to buy it.
Your house must be highly Wi-Fiized.
I do a lot. I do a lot with technology.
Okay. Wow. Me, I've even been, my note is full. I've done how many pages, extra sheets, just in one class, in one session, in one episode. It's been very enlightening. And thank you everyone that called in. Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel. Thank you, Henry. Thank you, Miss Lovable. And thank you, Jenny Ma. So, at this time, we call it a day. But as usual, before we go, we'll have the last word from our guests in the studio. Thank you, sir, for making this an exciting show. Thank you for your massive contributions. I truly, thoroughly enjoyed your company. Now, to those listening at home, what last words do you have for them? Mr. Henry, please. Mr. Bruno, please. Sorry.
Okay, for parents and for children, work in progress. Our kids are work in progress, and we have to devote some time to them. No matter how busy we are, these are the precious gift of God, and the parents shouldn't spare any effort to guide them rightly at this development stage. Thank you very much.
Thank you too. Thank you. All right, Miss Caroline, what have you to say?
Okay, thank you, Jenny. In addition to being a co-host, I've learned a lot as well.
Yes.
And I also want parents to be, should be watchful.
Yeah.
Watchful. Day by day we have new apps coming up that children are using now, which parents are not aware of.
Yeah.
We need to update ourselves regularly, get to know what they are into, because you may say, okay, it's Instagram, WhatsApp, and all those. They've gone beyond those levels.
True.
If you do not update yourselves, if we do not update ourselves, we may soon be outdated. So I think we should keep, it's a work in progress, and be watchful. Thank you all.
Thank you. And for me, I just want to let you know that it's never too late to start screen time regulation. So even if you've not been doing it, don't beat yourself up too much. Begin today. Begin today and do not procrastinate. The tomorrow you procrastinate to could be the day your child ventures into a world you're not happy with. So begin today. Start where you can. Start where you can. Even if you can't afford all those tools and apps and Wi-Fi, begin by doing what we have recommended, and with time you can upgrade to those. Thank you for being with us on the show. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for listening through. And thank you for taking notes. We are happy that it was beneficial to you. And we wish you a very lovely week ahead. God bless you. Bye-bye.